So the other day, I was asked to look into an issue for somebody who's representing themselves, and I wanted to share that issue with you and the answer as well. But more importantly, I wanted to go through the steps that I use to research this issue. So if you have a question or issue in your own personal case, you'll have some tools to help you answer those questions. So the question was, I had a bench trial and I didn't prevail. I wanted to appeal the judgment. I asked for a findings of facts and conclusions of law from the judge under Texas Rule of Civil Procedure 296, which is necessary in order to successfully appeal a case, but the judge has not rendered those findings of facts and conclusions of law. So what do I do? Um, Now, I know that if a judge doesn't perform the ministerial duties, then you can get the appellate court to force them to perform those duties by filing a request for mandamus from the appellate court. And so I was tasked with finding a similar case where this happened, and I wanted to find the petition for mandamus and give it to this individual so that this individual um, could see how the cases and the petitions actually work in another case, so that they could try to use those in their own case as they're representing themselves. So the answer to the question, what do you do if the trial court hasn't issued your findings of facts and conclusions of law after you went through the correct steps to request them? Actually, the answer is not to request a mandamus, but rather is to go ahead and appeal the case and point out to the appellate court that the trial court has not issued your findings of facts and conclusions of law, and then either request the appellate court to abate your appeal and then to direct the lower court to issue those findings of facts and conclusions of law, or the appellate court will abate the appeal itself and direct the lower court to issue the findings of facts and conclusions of law. But the interesting thing here is going to be the research and how we arrive at that conclusion, and also how to find one of these appellate briefs in one of these cases where the appellate court did an abatement. So I start here at Fastcase. This is a research tool to research case law. It's not the best one, but the reason I'm using this is because it's available for free at the Texas State Law Library. If you create an account, I believe you get a 6-month access to Fastcase for free. So that's why I'm using this to show you how to do this research. So before I start typing in keywords, I'm first going to go to jurisdiction and sources and limit it to just Texas and just Texas cases, and actually unchecked Texas criminal cases. I don't want those, I just want the civil cases. So now for the keywords, initially I was searching for, I want a case with mandamus, and I want a case that says findings of facts and conclusions of law. And so I'm going to put those in quotation marks here, so it looks at them all as kind of one string, all connected together. And now if you didn't know if it was findings of fact or findings of facts with an S, you can use an asterisk here, which acts like a wild card. Findings of facts and. So that'll give us a string for findings of facts and conclusions of law. Then I also want to search for 296 because that's the Texas Rule of Civil Procedure that deals with findings of facts and conclusions of law. And I'm going to erase this and put WP. That means it's going to find these two search phrases within the same paragraph. Before you start searching and mess around with this too much, it's a good idea to look at the Boolean operators I just searched, went to Google and looked for Boolean and Fastcase and found listed these operators here. They really make your searches a lot more efficient. So now we'll hit enter. So we have 34 search results. That's pretty good. That's a pretty low number. And you can see it gives you a little snippet from the case where those keywords appear. And so you can look through those little snippets and give you an idea before you start digging into the case. Now, I opened up the first 6 of these, and 6, I got here to this N. Ray Schindler. Now, this is a rather brief case, but basically what it says is it gives a standard for being entitled to mandamus relief. One of the requirements is that there's no adequate appellate remedy. And then down here it says there is an appellate remedy. You can just appeal the case and the trial court will abate the case. Okay, so since I know it's not a mandamus we're looking for, but an abatement, I changed my search terms here to findings of fact within 100 of abate and also looking for 296. I've also changed limited my date range from January 1st, 2016 to present. And that's because the Court of Appeals, they purge their records every 6 years. And so I want to find a case here and then look for it in the Court of Appeals and then look up the motions that were filed at the Court of Appeals. And I can only do that for something that's been filed in the past 6 years. So I hit search, and right away, my second case here looks pretty on point. It's talking about an unopposed motion to abate the appeal for findings of facts and conclusion of law. So I click on that case, and that takes me here. I see that it's in the Court of Appeals, 5th District of Texas. So I go to Google's, and I just type in COA, Texas 5th, and then I go to case search. Click 5th over here, and then this number right here that ends in CV, that's the number I use for the case number. I hit search, and since this is not more than 6 years old, they still have the briefs filed, and so you could go down and look at the brief that was filed, look at the exact language that was used, and then they also have a motion here for extension of time to file the brief. No, that wasn't what I was looking for. There's a motion to abate right here. You could pull up that motion and you could see exactly what it looks like. So I hope that was useful information. What to do if the trial court doesn't issue a findings of facts and conclusion of law, and also how to research case law and how to find some actual motions that were filed in the Court of Appeals if that's something you needed. If you have a similar question you'd like me to look into, kind of go through these same steps and show you how I come to the answer, please leave a question in the comments or message my Facebook page, get a hold of me anyway.